this adventure coming to you from Viva Las Vegas. We're going to check out some mob history. Two individuals in particular, Lefty Rosenthal, or Mr. Frank Rosenthal, and Anthony Spilotro, otherwise known as Anthony the Ant. This building behind me played a major role. You ever seen the movie Casino? Well, you remember a car blowing up? Yeah, that's all I'm going to give you for right now. Stay tuned. I think it's time we explore more of mob history in Viva Las Vegas, mama. Oh, let's do it. In 1971, mobster Anthony the Ant Spilotro moved his family to Las Vegas, Nevada. With wife Nancy and adopted son Vincent, they made this nondescript, quiet little neighborhood their own. This is the house they resided in until it had all hit the fan. After Anthony the Ant Spilotro landed in Nevada's Black Book, banning him from all casinos, he decided to turn things to street crime, which leads us here. On July 4th, 1981, Spilotro and the, quote, hole-in-the-wall gang stopped by here, formerly Bertha's, a furniture and jewelry store, to do a little robbing. Here, the Spilotro gang, known as the Hole-in-the-Wall, decided, I think it's a good idea to hop up on the roof and drill a hole through it. So they did. They ended up drilling a hole through the roof. Now where I'm currently standing, allegedly, is where the informants were hanging out waiting for the signal. Now I don't want to tell too much of the story, so let's get a little bit more of an authority. Say hello to Mr. Jack Weinstein, who owns Tower of Jewels, which replaced Bertha's years ago. Mr. Weinstein's been in Las Vegas for over 60 years, so he knows a thing or two. What say you, Mr. Weinstein?
My name is Jack Weinstein. I now own the Tower of Jewels. Originally, this was Bertha's. And Bertha had, besides having a furniture store, she had a jewelry store. And in the jewelry store was a vault. And the vault is where we're standing in front of now. And so a gang tried to get in, but in the gang was an undercover agent. And when they tried to get in, and before the big door, which is part of the safe, the undercover agent gave a signal to the people who were across the street at my other store, Tower Jewels, to tell them that it wasn't a go, they were not in. So they went back up and went over to the top of the store and got in, and then he gave the signal, and they came and they arrested him.
So you were telling me that they first attempted to come through right here. They were able to gain access through this area and get down into the front of the safe, but then they were not able to gain access to the safe, so they went back up and then drilled through the top of the safe.
That's what I said.
Okay. So as you can see, they would have come through the top of the safe there, and then of course got inside, and that's when the agent gave the signal, and authorities came down on them.
Correct.
When the federal authorities clamped down on the Hole-in-the-Wall gang, they were charged with attempted robbery, attempted grand larceny, and busted for possessing burglary tools. One of the gentlemen, Mr. Frank Collada, decided to turn state's evidence against Anthony the Ant Spilotro, but in true "if it does not fit, you must acquit" fashion, he was acquitted. With the man breathing down their necks, and mob bosses in Chicago not happy with Anthony's antics, it was time to take a dirt nap. Later that year, they found Anthony and his brother in an Indiana cornfield. They had been beaten and left for dead and buried alive. Oh, the guys who whacked him? Yeah, they got whacked too. Frank Rosenthal had himself a talk show, which ticked off all the mob bosses. He also had this sweet ride, which helped save his life when the bomb went off. Welcome to the scene of the crime, 6th and Sahara. This is the former home of Tony Roma's, and on that night, It was the home of a bomb going off underneath Frank Rosenthal. The former Tony Roma's, now a Hustler Hollywood building. But back in the day, this place was serving up the ribs left and right. I'm sure when he left for the evening, he did a look around. As a matter of fact, in that Marie Callender's right there were 2 federal agents. Somewhere in the parking lot during the explosion was a Secret Service agent. President Ronald Reagan was coming into town just a couple days later. During the explosion, a chunk of the vehicle ended up impaling the eye of one of the Secret Service members. After grabbing his food to go, Frank headed to his vehicle. Pretty standard procedure for him since he frequented the place quite a bit. Although this night, he had a surprise waiting for him. So he heads over to his vehicle, breaks out his keys, hops on in, and gets ready to roll. Upon entering his vehicle, Lefty put the keys in, and turned the ignition for the last time. Once they put the fire out, this is all that remained of Frank's car. A few eyewitnesses said that when the vehicle blew up, the trunk flew so high it ended up on the top of a sign for a German restaurant. Now I don't know where in this parking lot that sign was or that restaurant, but based on the photos, it's unbelievable that he even survived. Folks across the street in the nearby apartments said it sounded like a freight train was dropped from the sky. From this angle, you can see the pole directly behind my vehicle lines up roughly with the door frame. You see the 2 yellow markers at the base and then the brown pole rising from it. This is the angle that this shot was taken. In the photo I'm about to show you, which apparently was taken from a boom or on the top of a vehicle, is an angle shot showing you how the vehicle was blown up and to the right. So that would be up and southbound towards Sahara Avenue, which is directly behind me. If you look closely in the next photo, you're going to see the center yellow post. Just to the right of it, you'll see the electrical portion. Now this one's been exposed, probably from copper thieves, but in this photo, this is the exact angle that was taken that night when Mr. Rosenthal's vehicle was blown to smithereens. The entire back of the vehicle was blown almost completely off. As you can see in this picture, that blast was intense, launching the trunk and curling the roof. Good thing Cadillac put a piece of metal to balance that baby out in the 81 Eldorado, or this picture right here may have had a charred body in it. Instead, Lefty hopped up, ticked off because he recently had hair plugs put in. Those got burnt up. His left arm charred up a little bit. Face a little bit bloodied. But come on, man. The guy just got blown up and walked away. That's crazy. A short drive from the Tony Roma's just across the street. Down this nondescript road is where Mr. Frank Lefty Rosenthal lived. Now, his official title at the Stardust Casino was Food and Beverage Manager. I have a feeling it entailed just a little bit more. However, Mr. Rosenthal was not exactly that. That, my friends, is a Las Vegas country club. You can see how Lefty would have liked this neighborhood. Very swanky. Very swanky indeed. That's it. The former home of Frank Lefty Rosenthal. Now, I'm not certain if the dispute that was made famous by the movie Casino, which was between Frank and his wife at the time, Jerry, took place there or not. But wherever it took place, cops showed up, things got escalated, and well, the rest is history. There it is. Frank's backyard. Who knows what kind of stories went down right here? What was planned and plotted? But whatever it was, you know, it was mob related. The night of the attempted murder, Frank Rosenthal sustained fire burns and damage to both of his legs, his left arm, and the left side of his face. He was later transported to Sunrise Hospital, checked in. They did a little work on him. Later that same night, on that Monday, he was released. Police on the scene were attempting to talk to Lefty, and he said, "Take a hike, Jack." He wouldn't sign a crime report, wanted nothing to do with it. So, they let him go. What could they do? The man just survived being blown up. Surprisingly, the only injury that took place that night was to a Secret Service agent. You see, just a couple days later, 3 days, on a Thursday, President Ronald Reagan was coming to Las Vegas, and you can imagine things were on high alert. So when a car explodes in the parking lot and sends a chunk of metal into the eyeball of a Secret Service agent, yeah, things got a little tense. Mob violence and a president, Vegas was freaking out. Well, that's going to do it from this one. If you enjoy videos like this, give it a big thumbs up. And if you didn't, give it a big thumbs down. Want, want, want. Either way, I'm cool with it. Leave a comment below. If you happen to have Vegas history that I don't know, post it in the comments. Places you'd like to see me go here in Vegas and explore, post it in the comments below. You want to help out the channel? Subscribe. It's absolutely free. You want to kick it up to the next level? Check out my Spreadshirt. aimlessadventures.spreadshirt.com. Get yourself some swanky shirts. They throw me a couple bucks and get on down the road to the next one. Also, there's Patreon. Patreon.com/aimlessadventures, where a donation of $3 or more will get you a postcard hand signed by me from anywhere in the country I am exploring at that time. Until next time, be careful starting your car and adventure on.